Look at the brackets when we were showing them earlier. This field is stacked. It's a ton of incredibly powerful players.
It's very
not like it's easy, even though you only have to win 4 matches.
Yeah.
Good.
Here we go.
So the matchup is Kashtira versus Kashtira. This is probably going to be one of the more frequent matchups we're going to see over the weekend, since Kashtira is probably one of the more favored matchups here.
Stand by me.
And Brian's going first. Starting off with
Unicorn. Special summon, activate the effect of Unicorn. Unicorn's going to be able to fetch a spell card into the hand that's Kashtira named. It's either Birth or probably Theosis, one or the other. We're going to go for Theosis. That's going to set up another monster to summon out from the deck. Now this deck has gone through the gauntlet of having cards removed from the FNL list, and it's still going on really, really strong.
So one of the major changes with Kashtira is that Diablosis the Mind Hacker, which is not a Kashtira card, but it's kind of synonymous with the theme at this point, was forbidden recently.
Yes.
Which removes the lines of play that involve locking out 9 of your opponent's cards.
Yeah, that one was definitely a rough one where you basically don't get a chance at it. That was featured by Dominic Couch on a feature match.
And it also made it, as a result, since there's no Diablosis anymore peeking into your extra deck, you don't have to double up on so many things, because now it's kind of your choice of whether or not you're going to let them into the extra deck with the effect of Unicorn. And at the same time, they also lost 2 copies of Arise Heart.
Yeah.
So they only have 1 Arise Heart available, and if it's gone, you kind of have to jump through some hoops to get it back.
Oh, yeah. Some people just not bringing it back just in general, because Kashtira monsters are naturally very, very strong. So we went from our Unicorn to Theosis into, I believe that is the Rise Heart, and then there was a Birth, and then once a Birth was activated, we got to Kashtira Fenrir, normal summon, and here we are now. We're going to activate the effect of Rise Heart to, for cost, banishing a Kashtira card from the deck, and the top 3 cards of Pauly's deck is going to be banished face down. That's also going to trigger the next line here, which is the zone locking effect of Shangri-Ira.
So we'll go
chain
1.
That zone, chain link 2 target.
And then we're going to big bang here.
That's speaking of zone blocking. There's the zone blocker into right underneath one of the extra monster zone. And that big bang is going to activate targeting the Shangri-Ira, bringing back one of the materials into hand, and then you have the option to special summon that material, and that's going to be the Fenrir.
So this is an interesting line of play, because this goes ahead and plays into the Nibiru. We were discussing this earlier, whether or not players should be running Nibiru right now.
I think so.
I think so too, but I also think that a lot of duelists are often one event behind, and they're still thinking about just the Rise Heart pass line that was a little more prevalent a month ago, for instance, than it is now, rather than this more heavily invested play.
Okay, so we have gone into our Scareclaw Kashtira, banishing Theosis. Theosis adding back the Big Bang into hand, but because cards were banished, a Rise Heart is always going to trigger here. And we're also seeing, Dracosac.
Yep.
Mega Phantom Beast Dracosac summoned onto the field.
Mega Phantom Beast Dracosac has, it was a tournament level card when it first came out.
Oh, for sure.
Once again.
We're going to go for the summoning out of 2 tokens.
I have 2. Thank you.
Because I think what we're really going for here is that we're just trying to get the Ariser to get 3 materials under it.
Yeah.
So those tokens don't really matter too much. I mean, those tokens could get linked off. Yep, we'll just get rid of the tokens.
Thank you.
Because those tokens could be a very big liability for cards like Evenly Match, and you just get your whole board just completely removed, and you're forced to keep the tokens.
Now, these 2 are 2 Xyz monsters with the same rank that are not number monsters.
So we are now summoning into Utopic Future, and Utopic Future is going to summon into the other Utopic Future, Draco Utopic Future.
Utopic Draco Future, the other number F0.
And that's going to provide this particular board with a monster effect negation. And if that monster's on the field, you get to take it.
And then have you cut since I searched?
Now, we haven't really seen F0 since the last time that Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk was a popular deck. I think that's the last time we saw F0 going around. Although I would not be surprised if you saw quite a lot of it this weekend, as Kashtira players are now just kind of working out what the best way to work within their new limitations is.
So we're now seeing a Pot of Prosperity being activated here. That's going to cause the banishing for cost. I think he's going for 6. He's going for 6 cards. I'm not sure if he really wanted to reach that deep, considering that everything was more or less played here. But like activating the Prosperity after a Rise Heart has been put onto the field is very, very beneficial just on its own, as the Rise Heart can now attach Infinite Shark Goliath, protecting it.
Oh, no.
Good choices. Yeah.
That's a, wow.
Tough choice.
Book of Moon. It's like,
That's really good against the mirror match, for sure. Once the Kashtira leaves a monster on the field, you can't just special summon them out of the hand. You need to follow it with a birth or something along those lines. There's an imperm there as well, so negation can turn off perhaps the unicorn.
and then there's the enemy controller as well.
All very good cards against Kashtira.
Goes for the Book of Moon. Oh, I think that's a perfectly reasonable choice.
Effect attack.
And we're going to attach one more time with our Ice Heart.
There's
It's a
a lot of good
mandatory effect.
We're going to go with Skull Knight? Nope.
He is grabbing something out of the cards that vanish with Prosperity. And I do believe that is Fossil Warrior of Skull Knight.
Yeah, that is the Skull Knight.
So when
So
it gets into the graveyard, it can be banished later on to destroy a monster.
yeah, there's always been that debate whether or not you should play Elder Entity Entis or play this card here. I just think of this card is a little bit better because you can choose the timing, whereas if you suddenly get hit by a Kaiju, the Entis will not provide you with any value.
Yeah, it depends on what deck you're playing, really. Like in a deck like this, the Fossil Warrior, I think, is the play. But if you're playing something that's using it for Dogmatic Punishment, for instance, you might want the double up on destruction immediately.
Oh, yeah. Just force a weird timing for your opponent. Now, Paulie has his work cut out for him here. This is not an easy field to break.
It is a tough one.
But if anyone can do it, I would believe in Paulie.
I like this field because it's the one that only loses the Lava Golem, right? And that's the one that people aren't really playing these days. It's just Kaijus and Sphere modes.
For sure. I'm playing Lava Golem myself.
I'm a fan of Lava Golem.
I think Dark Ruler No More would also be pretty good in this scenario, turning off the Rise Heart, also turning off the Utopic Draco Future.
And don't forget about the targeting protection as well
Yes.
on Draco Future.
Oh, this is definitely not easy here. We're going to start with Pot of Desires.
His favorite card.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Perhaps he can get into some more useful cards to kind of break out of the situation. There's definitely cards that he can use. Since there is no targeting protection for the Arise Heart, you can use Book of Moon to turn that monster off. And I think we're just trying to dig into the correct cards to answer these cards. Now we're going to see the Arise Heart activate. Cards were banished, of course.
Weird. Effect attack.
Apologies, it's destruction
not
protection, not
Destruction
targeting protection. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effects.
We're going to see an attachment of Infinite Shark Goliath. Now that is a scary monster. There was a recent trend of people playing a little bit of a Raid Raptor engine using Raider's Wing. And if you have Goliath and the Raider's Wing underneath the Arise Heart, you can't target it and cannot be destroyed. It almost feels like a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon.
Yeah, just trying to build it yourself. We can assemble it.
We have a Thrust activated. Oh, this is good. This is good news for Paulie.
Yeah, now he's going to be able to take that card into his hand if he needs to. That's a great way to get evenly matched out of your deck if you've got it. But he does have Triple Tactics Talent, which is also quite a nice find at the moment.
Oh, that can take control of the Arise Heart if need be. But that Arise Heart is in defense mode. And we do know that there's a Book of Moon. So if timing is incorrect, that Book of Moon could just turn off the card that we're about to take. There was another way you can actually take control of it. If you use the effect of tactics to take, and you take the Draco Future, that's also going to automatically activate the Arise Heart, and then you can activate the monster you just took with the Utopic Draco Future and take control of the Arise Heart as well.
Get it back.
Yeah, you can actually take its little take one for free, buy one get one almost.
Let's see what he grabs with it.
This one it has to force an activation of some sort. We are going to see a detachment. I mean, you definitely don't want your opponent to take your cards and then get everything else along with it. So you might as well burn a couple of effects here so that they can't use it, since Arise Heart is once per turn. But if the play goes through and we take the Utopic Draco Future, that's going to automatically activate. I wonder if that's going to be the line to see, or is there going to be
He's negating it himself.
just burning the effects, like I said just now.
So it's a mandatory unicorn. Chain link 2, Theosis, target unicorn.
But this is still, not done yet. I mean, we still have access to Zeus here.
You got to get it through the Book of Moon, though.
But this just shows how powerful Triple Tactics Thrust is in this matchup. Being able to search for the talents, setting it all up. Like, that particular interaction of just leaving the Utopic Trickle Future on board together, it is very rough. Especially when facing off against Tactics.
Is it in
Middle.
middle? Okay, sure. Just wanted.
So the missing piece here is how are we getting past the Book of Moon, which we know is there
Yes.
off of Prosperity.
Yeah, Poly cannot just preemptively just put it into attack position. That's not
Yeah.
available, I would say, as an option, because it's just going to turn up, and then you have to return the monster back to the opponent, and you also preloaded the monster with more Xyz material.
So not bad over here. Poly's got both Kashtira Birth and the Pressure Planet Ratesoth.
He's going to have his normal summon available, and that's going to open the entire line. So likely I'm going to assume this is going to be a Unicorn ad. Yep.
It's Unicorn.
Unicorn can get to the Theosis through the normal summon, and then you're just still able to perhaps maybe we'll see a double Arise Heart board. But is that necessary though? Now this is a point where it's more or less forcing Brian to interact.
And that's really the goal here. You just want as many of those cards gone now.
But there's still one more remaining face down on Brian's side. We're gonna see if that's gonna make any impact here.
Normal summon?
Normal summon out, Kashtira Unicorn,
Accurate effect?
Yep.
and the effect has gone through. So not responding with the Book of Moon. Perhaps he's waiting for a better timing. Maybe there is a threat of losing all of your life points.
Oh, sure.
He's picking up Kashtira Theosis. And Kashtira
Special
Theosis.
from hands?
Oh, no, not yet. We're specialing Rise Heart first. Rise Heart is on the field.
Does Poly have any banished Kashtira cards? I don't think he has any yet.
Not face up ones, anyway.
Accurate effect?
He's going to activate the effect first. Because now when he activates the Theosis from his hand, it's going to basically retrieve the card straight into... Well, the card that got banished gets to be retrieved right away.
Sure.
Yeah, so he banishes the Fenrir here.
Oh, yes. I usually do that to remind myself I still have to shuffle it, but you're right.
So 3 cards gets banished off of Brian K's.
There's less than 15 minutes for on-site registration for the 2023 North American World Championship qualifier.
Well, he did have Big Bang
If you
banish.
plan to do on-site
So that's good.
That's really good. That's really good.
Now. At 5 p.m.
That Book of Moon is still putting you on a lot of pressure. That Pot of Prosperity is really putting in work here.
Target?
Targets Rise Heart with the effect of Kashtira Theosis.
I think there's a a hunch maybe he wants to keep the Arise Heart alive, because if you can keep the Arise Heart, it can come back to him. One of the biggest worry is that maybe a Zeus can kind of come out and send the rest of the cards away.
Fenrir drops in defense position. And now we're going to do the Arise Heart effect here. Attach another thing.
I do wonder if Poly's going to be able to push for enough damage to just take the game, even with the Book of Moon on the field.
Yeah, so you got to hold off as long as you can on this.
That's a lot of cards. If there was a Raid Raptor card under it, then the Book of Moon's not even a threat.
Could be. Get that Raider's wing in.
3 cards? Anything?
This is staring lethal in the face. If there could be a point where it's too late, and understanding when that timing is your mastery as a duelist.
Yeah, I guess the question is, is he waiting for the other Fenrir or Arise Heart to do something? Fenrir is here right now and can get a search.
Where can he push this field? That Book of Moon, when would be the best timing? Oh, there's also, of course, the Birth Special Summon. We get back a second copy of Fenrir.
Yeah.
So that's 4 level 7s on the field right now.
This is very dangerous. Okay, we're going to see a big bang. Oh!
So he does control 2 or more monsters.
And there's all the
And
Book of
there's a
Moon.
Kashtira Exceeds monster on the field, so Big Bang can be activated.
This is very dangerous. He did use the effect of his Kashtira Birth already, so that's not going to be a line of follow-up. And he's going to choose to banish the Ariser. I think it's a pretty good choice to get rid of the Ariser because otherwise it has to return to the opponent. I think, yeah.
He's keeping the
attack
Fenrir.
position, Fenrir, and all these materials are going to be sent to the grave.
Sure.
So you got to get rid of, or at least
These are
threaten to get rid of the birth here.
yours.
Yeah, Birth cannot live past 1 turn. 1 Birth is the equivalent of the entire field. But that is one of the forgotten parts about Big Bang is that it almost functions like an evenly match.
It really does.
And in this case, you only have to care about your opponent controlling a Kashtira Exceeds monster. So in a mirror match, this card can get even more value, and this is exactly what we saw, and it's keeping Brian in the game.
Yeah, and it's if either player has a Kashtira Exceeds monster. So you can use it if you have your own Arise Heart and they're trying to like just summon a bunch of dudes.
Active effect target birth.
And Birth is going to get banished, and then we're going to see some damage going. I believe that's 25 because of the field spell.
That's the first damage, right?
Yep.
My 55 default.
It's got
You have
extra
3
100 attack points here.
Now, there's still a Book of Moon.
It's interesting that he was able to hold it this entire time. I guess depending on what the rest of the hand is, it could turn out that none of that stuff that Paulie just did was super relevant.
Sure.
We'll see.
Paulie not committing any further, or maybe he couldn't commit any further.
He seems like he played just about everything short of. I think I see Scareclaw Kashtira in the graveyard, so I don't think there's a whole lot else.
No.
And, all shuffle cut.
Yes.
All right. So Brian draws for turn. Well, if Paulie committed into any more of the field, it's only going to get hit by the Book of Moon and turned off right away anyway. So it's definitely not a lot of value. And yeah, there's also the Fossil Warrior Skull Knight being able to destroy the Fenrir. That opens up the field once again. And there's a special summon now, Kashtira Unicorn. Unicorn basically going to give him a copy of Birth again. This time, the graveyard and the banish are loaded.
Now, Paulie does have face down cards this time. So we'll see what happens here.
Daruma.
It's Destructive Daruma Cannon.
Oh, it's a destructive Daruma Karma Cannon. It flips all face monster. Yeah, as many monsters on the field as possible to take down defense.
Sure.
So it flips everything face down, and anything that's not face down is sent to the graveyard for monsters. And there was a Kashtira Birth already. Okay, this is going to reload the entire field.
That's what I got.
This is a full access to basically any monster. You can go into a Fenrir. Fenrir can continue the line. Now, fun fact, if you use Forbidden Lance against the Daruma Karma Cannon, the monster will still be more or less affected in some way because the player will have to send it to the graveyard at the end.
It's the absolute just shooting yourself in the foot if you see Karma Cannon and decide to lance your own monster. So that goes down, but Kashtira Birth bringing something back anyway.
Now, the Birth effect has been used, but we can probably see maybe a normal summon to follow up. We're going to get a Book of Moon here.
So Book and Karma Cannon, a lot of flip face down.
I like how that mechanic is now used more often. Like, it really just changes so that you don't just get free value. You can even, this is technically considered as a -1 because you're losing a card and your opponent gets to keep the card, but they don't get any use out of that card.
And there was a long time when you couldn't run flip face down effects at all because all the decks were all link monsters all the time.
Stand by
And they
me.
can't go to defense position.
Now, will this be enough? Just turning off the 2 monsters, will that be enough to actually stop Brian from continuing? I think he still has a normal summon if he does have a card.
There's a lot of, even if you can't continue here, this is pretty threatening, even with those cards face down, with Birth on the field.
But we've been passed back to Paulie. Paulie's going to start off with his Birth, special summoning out the Fenrir. There's going to be the Book of Moon. You have to stop that.
And we'll see if Paulie's got another monster.
If he has one, then it's going to spell a lot of trouble for Brian. Players are just not letting any effect go off.
No, this has been a good game. A lot of back and forth here.
And we're passing turn. Oh. That's like one card that you can never keep on the field. That's got to be Kashtira Birth.
Can't let Birth stay. but I don't think he had a choice.
Flip summon out on the Unicorn. Unicorn activates its effect to add a spell card. We're going to probably see another copy of Theosis.
Pick up after yourself and have a wonderful
But is there
evening.
enough monsters left in Brian's deck to summon out? Sometimes you can run dry a little bit early. Okay, so we do get the Theosis, but don't forget about the other effect of Theosis, being able to add some of your banished resources back into your hand.
There's plenty there to choose from.
Oh, these are flip summons. They're not your
Flip
normal
summon,
summon.
Not your normal.
Okay.
And Polly concedes.
Yep. A really strong start by Brian. Polly did a really good job fighting back into that, but he just didn't quite have the monsters needed to strike back one more time. At Birth being left on the field, just kind of ensured that even if he was able to clear the monsters, they were all just coming back
Yep.
time anyways.
Birth being one of the most powerful cards. I think one of the interactions that was most interesting in that match was probably the point of triple tactics. Knowing what to do in that position, burning a lot of those card effects is probably what kept Brian in that turn. Otherwise, they could have gone completely wrong.
Yeah, that was an interesting reaction right there. Being able to just chain it and get one of your cards off the field and then send the other one over in defense position.
Yeah, and then there's no value on those monsters. And then because it was in defense mode, the positioning also mattered a lot because there's no free attack into making a Zeus. And that way, the Book of Moon got maximum value.
It did. That was a little surprising. And well, I mean, it's the Big Bang.
The Big Bang. Oh, the Big Bang was
Big Bang
definitely
was
the
huge there.
key point there. That was probably the MVP card. Otherwise, that was an onslaught coming.
And it's tough too. Like, it's very hard to play around the Big Bang if you don't actually know it's there, because it's a one-of in all of these decks.
He did add it to his hand though earlier with the Theosis play.
Was that
Through the
card he
scare
got back
clock,
with?
through the
That's right, he
scare
did.
clock. He did get it back, and it did come in handy. Like every card mattered, and this is what we see at the top level of Yu-Gi-Oh. There are no cards that are played by accident.
I wonder if there was a way to try to like force that out without just putting all 5 monsters out and getting hit by Big Bang.
Yeah, I think that perhaps there was an opportunity. If you don't go for an 8,000 damage push, there was probably some way to push for maybe double Xyz push. That would force the Big Bang out right away, and then you could probably save the Kashtira Birth to do an additional summon to get the follow-up.
So like summon your own
Yeah.
Rise Heart maybe there and try
Yeah.
to use it right away.
And that would have probably forced the Book of Moon to activate right away on that turn, because he got the Book of Moon for the additional turn.
Yeah, then you got a problem. And we saw it right there. As the one summon that Polly had available came from Birth, and once that was flipped face down, that was all she wrote.
So definitely in a Kashtira versus Kashtira, each of your cards need to get maximum value, or else your opponent is going to take advantage of that. Like a poorly timed card could spell the end of the entire match.
It's a high pressure situation too.
All right, these duels now shuffling up, siding. Now, what in terms of siding, do you think Kashtira wants to go first or second?
In this case, it's hard not to go first, I think. It's really hard not to.
It is hard not to go
Right,
first. I
but-
think there's a lot of value in going second. Especially in this matchup, you have enemy controller, triple tactics. These are all very, very powerful cards.
But in this case, though, you know your opponent's deck is full of spells, right? You want to be able to play all your spells first, and then maybe get them with something like the anti-spell fragrance.
Yes.
Well, since I think that's going to be a huge card just in general this weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Including the time section? Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
All right, now we are going into game 2 with Polly's choice.
I'm going first.
Polly offers going first to Brian.
Interesting. All right. Let's see.
I mean, if you successfully...
Like Polly, his deck specifically, though, he's building around those triple
Remember?
tactics cards.
Mhm.
So I think for him specifically, there's a lot more value in going second because you know your opponent's going to have to activate a monster effect. Like, you can make them do it.
But now we're going to catch
Yeah, normal summon.
whether or not Brian saw that he was going to come to go first and chose to side in say cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance. A normal summon out Riser. Oh, that doesn't look too good.
It's not the best. He's got the Theosis, though,
Okay.
and that's still going to get you somewhere.
Theosis into... I'm not sure if you want to... Well, if you get Unicorn, you get access to your Birth, but what's Birth really going to bring out at this point, aside from... probably might go still for Birth. So yeah, we're going to go see the Unicorn. Unicorn can get a card back, but it's going to be very difficult to get the Arise Heart activation.
You can
earlier
still do
here.
a rank 7, though, right?
You can still do a rank
Rise
7.
Heart's effect to make it 7.
Yes, but you're going to have to use the Rise Heart effect. And Rise Heart is probably the only effect you have to banish a card face down from your opponent's deck. So this is definitely not like the best start for Brian. And going
It's
first on this,
significantly worse than last time.
You always want to start with a Unicorn with the field spell.
So we're going to go Rise Heart effect. I'm going to banish a Kashtira card from the deck.
I'm going to take a guess that's going to be Fenrir. Another Unicorn.
Oh,
I did not see that coming.
interesting. All right,
So
so
he's
he's
gonna-
got Scareclaw Kashtira.
Oh, so he's going to work his way around. So he still managed to get 3 monsters onto the field.
So that's 3 level 7s right now.
Yep, that's going directly into a Rise Heart.
Yeah, so this is the play that I
Gravity
think
controlling me today.
What's that?
So you're not gravity controlling me today.
And we're going to see a couple of
Sure on
sets
that
here.
or not.
I think one of those was the enemy controller. I mean, even for
days of
a
Arise Pass.
start that's not the best, this is still pretty decent.
Chill
yeah,
out.
Rise Heart's still a great card, even if it's just blown out there. I think this is the sort of start that a lot of players are preparing for. Like why maybe we aren't seeing as much Nibiru as you might expect.
Yeah.
Tournament through public events.
I think Paulie just drew into an Ash Blossom.
Is now closed.
It hurts so much to see it as card number 6.
Card number 6, you don't want it to be a Nibiru. You don't want it to be any of your disruption from hand.
Thank you so much for coming this evening. Our staff will be helping you. If you have any questions, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.
Now, Paulie has his favorite card. I can see the tip of it right there. And he's going to start with it, Pot of Desires.
Seems good. That'll at least force the Rise Heart to attach something as material, and that'll have a monster on the field with its effect activated. And that keeps any triple tactics cards he draws off this, or that are already in his hand, active.
Well, that'd be really awesome. Now you turn your draw 2 into a draw 4. But maybe you would choose to take. Now, this time Brian didn't get to activate Pot of Prosperity, so there's like not too much to add back, but one of the best cards to add back and attach onto that Rise Heart is going to be the Theosis. Just this is how you manage your resources with this deck, is that you need to know what you can grab back from your banish, and knowing the proper cards to detach for a Rise Heart when you activate the effect. Ooh, a Fenrir special summon.
Ooh, okay.
That is really good. We're going to see a detach from the cost of a Rise Heart.
It's just a matter of which ones.
So-
Theosis is an obvious one.
So he has to consider which one he wants to add back to his hand now.
So it's Theosis, Scareclaw,
Okay.
and Unicorn.
Oh,
Chains
enemy
keep
control.
on. Ooh, what's next? Are we going to keep it? We're going to keep it. Lance.
Wow. But this is not the end. Enemy controller was definitely one of the stronger plays. Once you can take control of that Arise Heart, it's really good.
Lance is a tough one, though, because now you can't steal it with triple tactics.
Yeah.
1, 2. Target. Rise Heart.
So Theosis is going to activate to grab back a card.
And then
I
catch your
think
face up banish.
that is Rise Heart. And then the Arise Heart is going to activate and attach the Fenrir. This is actually a tough position for Paulie, because if Paulie's trying to get a card banished and Revival of Birth, that's not going to be possible while the Arise Heart keeps on taking each and every one of those names. Not to mention, I think Brian still has an enemy controller of his own in the back.
It's tough. It's just these back row cards that just do things are really tough.
Second Fenrir.
Yeah.
I don't know if that well,
That's a little tougher to deal with.
Any fans on? Nope. Active effects.
we're going to get the effect of Fenrir. Might as well gain a little more card advantage here. I mean, it will provide him with a follow-up in case he does hit by Econ. And Polly's not blindly going into the battle phase, and that's actually a very key point here. I think some other players might have like, oh, I'll just go, well, since you already used your effect, I'm going to go battle phase attack and only run into another card from the back, turning off your entire phase.
If you could clear this and then do like a triple tactics for the Forceful Sentry effect, that could be brutal.
Oh, that. Brian's down to like 2 cards or 1 card.
And we know that it's you just plucked it back to hand with the Theosis effect. It's the Rise Heart.
Oh.
Special.
I'm going to say a special summon of regular Rise Heart. By regular, I mean Kashtira Rise Heart. Again, still a difficult position to be in because if you activate the Rise Heart, what if that gets banished? It could just get attached.
It's going to be Tearlaments. Kashtira Tearlaments.
Now, if that card is sent to the graveyard, it sends more cards.
3 more cards.
To so 3 guys gets banished from the Rise Heart effect, and then the effect of
Just effect.
a Rise Heart attaching.
Mm-hmm.
And he's taking a look at his
Face down.
cards. He can get either.
If you had Birth, I feel like you'd send a better one than that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Press.
He's allowing Polly to keep his monster.
And he said, it's like, well, you probably don't have Birth, but what if he does? What if he does? I feel like you just have to, I think you have to take that Tearlament monster there just in case. Is it really that much better to take your own card out of your face down cards than to cut Polly off of Birth?
I'm not too sure. It really depends on how that face down now is going to interact with the remainder of this particular field.
Two level 7s can force all sorts of things.
Big Eye.
Yep, there we go.
There we go.
Big Eye.
This is really, really good.
So we've seen Dracosac and we've seen Big Eye, and I'm just trying to figure out.
There's the enemy controller. He has to take it. He has to take it.
For a second, I thought we were back in Dragon Ruler form.
A little bit. That is really good because if Polly has one more follow-up, this could be it. If you can somehow put a Fenrir back onto the field.
Yeah. The big idea detached Spanish.
So the attached one is banished. The other one is not.
That was a great force play. There's nothing left for Brian's side.
3 cards in hand. Well, that's a lot more cards than I thought was there. Well, that was only 2 with a Rise Heart, or with a regular Rise Heart, not a Rise Heart.
We're going to activate Burst. Triple attack to look at the hand.
He did it. He cleared everything out so he can take a peek.
Oh,
what?
That is not
no.
Okay, but he takes away the
the Birth is
the
gone.
And then he activates his own Birth.
So he did have it. He did have it, and Brian had the opportunity there to play around this and did not.
Gives him a cut, and we're passing it back. Now, can Polly establish enough of a threat here? Knowing that there's a unicorn coming up. It's going to banish, attack directly. That's going to be for 24.
That puts me at 56.
Yep. Set.
Set one face down.
And pass.
I mean, if that's a book, though, he's golden.
Like, all the face under the bottom?
No, face has to be in the top.
Sorry, the face up has to be on the top? Okay, so you're asking us
I think
to
they're
move it
just
out of order then?
arranging
Okay.
their the
I just wanted to
banish
make sure
cards.
that
Some
was
are
clear, 'cause,
face
like,
up, some are face
I didn't think we were
down.
allowed to reorder the banish pile, but okay.
Yeah, so you have to keep the order of the face down
use the
cards
best. So
sacred.
one in hand.
But you should always have your face up ones
Drop
face up where they can be seen instead of beneath a pile of face down cards.
That's right.
So they're not changing the order in which the cards were banished. It's just the order the cards are banished face up in one pile. The order the cards are banished face down in another pile. And you put one pile on top of the other pile.
Yes.
And that's what just happened. So we'll see. Is that one back row enough?
That Fenrir can put in a lot of work. But again, like Kashtira cards, if you're not attacking with them, you have to wait for your opponent to activate a card for you to even activate their effects. And for Fenrir, that's Fenrir's no exception here. There's the unicorn.
Special.
There's the unicorn special.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's going to
And
think here. See if you can turn that face down, get rid of it somehow.
It's a Book of Moon.
To the lance.
So the other
Is that
card
enough?
is Rise
Yeah, I
Heart
guess
and
so.
something.
These are some of the preemptive actions you have to
That's
take.
too bad. Normal.
Normal summon
Normal
Rise
summon
Heart.
Rise Heart.
Fight.
What can he banish to get some value here? So he's going to go for Theosis.
It's basically just Theosis, right?
Is there a card's banish right now?
Triggers on res.
Yep. Just a Shinlik one.
Thinking.
Or does he want to activate his Rise Heart? Or not Rise Heart, his Fenrir to hit the Rise Heart.
Picks up the Scareclaw Kashtira. Now, I think he's got something in the graveyard to banish for it if he wants.
There is.
Sure does.
There's even a Rise Heart. Maybe if he plays the Trap card, Preparation, can even
Preparation,
special
get it
summon it
back.
back into the field. A lot of people are not opting for that, though. It's a
I
lot
haven't
of
seen
setup.
Preparation in a while. Lots of Big Bang, not so much Preparation.
You would think that after limiting down to one Arise Heart, people would
Oh,
jump
right,
back
right.
onto Preparations, but it just never came to be.
And the thing is, the rank 7 pool is so good, it's not like you can't find 2 excellent rank 7s to put
Yeah.
in those slots. And maybe another one if you drop down to the 2 Shangri-La if you were playing 3.
And
And you also lose Diablosis, so there's another slot for another powerful rank 7.
Okay, and Scareclaw gets banished,
Okay.
Arise gets banished.
Yep.
So the Fenrir definitely stopping the entire play from moving forward. We didn't get to see a big guy, take
Stand by
control.
me.
Yep.
And that Triple Tactics talent put in good work there, getting Birth out of the hand.
And now Birth is on the field. Now, we already mentioned this in the previous game. You don't leave Birth on the field if you have an option to remove it. And this is exactly where we are. Now, is that set card imperm? It is. Infinite impermanence of that. That's going to turn off the Kashtira Birth,
is.
which is a really, really good play.
Man, that was his draw for the turn, too. That's a good one.
Now, where's Paulie going to take this? He has an Ash Blossom in his hand. That gives him an option to summon a Synchro Summon.
That'd be what? Level
Set
10?
Level
for
10, that's
Baron?
Baron de Fleur. That's an option. We are seeing it.
Normal summon Ash, Synchro summon Baron de Fleur.
Oh, that's going to be both the monsters removed.
The crowd loves it. Brian doesn't. His field is cleared, and he's taking even more damage.
I think he's top decking. You can't top deck one card against Baron.
Not one.
You're gonna.
That's the issue. Is
I-
one doesn't do it.
It's time.
He's considering conceding here.
That particular card isn't going to do it for you.
No, he concedes right here. Yeah, that's a very difficult way to play into.
It's not booked because he didn't change it to the lance, so I didn't imprint the Fenrir first.
Apparently, there's a little bit of misreading right there.
Yeah,
That
you're
was a little
right.
tough, too. And he thought about getting rid of that
Imprint the
Virulence
Fenrir first, and then you
monster
can't
as
Fenrir, and
well.
then if you book the unicorn, I just have all the
Figures like, well, he doesn't
I just
have
play.
Birth, but he
I
did.
did Ash, but
Yep.
like nothing I was doing was going from deck, so that's too bad.
This
Brian.
is an intense Kashtira matchup.
Tough one. It's been a really excellent match so far. I'm very pleased with this match. A lot of back and forth, and a lot of kind of classic cards mixing together with the new stuff from this year as well. So you got all these Kashtira monsters, Rise Heart and regular Rise Heart, Raid Soft and all that. That's all 2003, and then you've got Book of Moon from 2003 instead of 2023.
These builds are quite different. They focus on different things we've seen on Brian's side. He played lances, more quick play spells, and he had to do a bit of a workaround to get the triple material Rise Heart on the field because he didn't start with any of the level 7s. And as for Paulie's focusing more on the triple tactics. We've seen the triple tactics come live twice already, one from the thrust and then talents in both
Super
games.
clutch.
Really, really
Super
good.
clutch.
Even though the first game he did get the talents, but he did not manage to secure the win. So just because you have some powerful cards doesn't mean the game's over.
I wonder what Brian's going to do here. So Ollie had him go first each time, and I would assume that that's what he wants. I figure he wants to go first. So both players are just going to get what they want here.
Yep.
And be able to side accordingly.
Unless they're playing some sort of mind game against each other where, hey, I'm going to put in the anti-spell fragrance here.
Oh, and then go second. Well, no, it's Brian's choice. So if he puts in the anti-spell fragrance, he's definitely go first. Yeah, I wouldn't try to do anything fancy. So it's game 3. This is the match that decides whether you go to Worlds or you have to play the entire WCQ this weekend.
That's 12 rounds of Swiss, perhaps, maybe.
Yeah, and then another 6 or 7 in
Yeah.
top cut. I think it's
Top
6.
64.
Yeah, top 64.
Top 64.
So it'd be 6, and then if you lose in top 8, you have to decide the seeding to get the alternates, just in case any of the actual top 4 aren't going. So you may have to play more matches there if you're going to, if you want to be 5th place instead of 6th, so that if one person doesn't go, you get the pass down.
Oh, that's right.
Because that happened in the playoff as well. Like Patrick Hoban made it to top 4, but he wasn't in the top 16. Somebody had to drop out for another reason, so he got his chance and made it a stone's throw away from getting back to the World Championship.
It's very, very close.
So these things happen all the time. People aren't able to go for some reason, and then people get that invite and they make the absolute most of it.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple times, I think these people have actually won the World Championship. Like Galley, I believe his first one, he was actually a pass down recipient and then made the most of it. And Shunsuke, the first time he won, he came in 2nd in Rimini, and then the first place player was not able to come back the next year to represent, and they gave the World Champion spot to the 2nd place player in that case, and he went and won that next year.
Yes.
So a lot of things can happen between now and August, and it's better to just get it out of the way now.
I think they shook each other's hand just now. We're going to get ready for the Game 3. The all-important Game 3.
Very.
This is everything on the line here.
Last game of the day.
You don't hold anything back. Sure, this is a top 4 matchup. However, because the top 2 are getting their invites to World Championship, this is the match that really matters.
First and 2nd place don't matter. Not even going to play it. We're just getting our World's competitors here. And public events at this moment are winding down. They closed registration a while ago. We're just finishing out everything that's left. And everybody is making their way here to the stage to watch the final game.
Man, the pressure is on into this Game 3.
Let's hope it's as good as the last 2.
And I wonder who's going first. Who is going first?
Brian looking to the heavens there for a moment.
I think Brian is going first. Paulie's not making any action right now. Yeah. See, that's the mind game.
Me? Sure. Yep.
That is the side deck, I believe.
Yeah, moving the side deck off so it's not in the field spell or mistaken for banished cards or anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Brian
Sets
starts.
Oh no! Oh
No
no!
monster.
Oh no! You don't want to see a Kashtira start off with setting a couple of no, a set 4.
Did his deck get replaced with Labyrinth? What's happening here?
Oh no!
Set 5 pass.
Hey, we're not going to write him off just yet.
This
because-
isn't a trap deck.
Yeah, but this could be. Well, we can take a wild guess. Infinite impermanences, enemy controllers,
Book, Econ, land.
anti-spell fragrance.
In the draw phase.
And the draw phase.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh no!
he's got
oh,
it.
no. Oh, he has it. He has it.
He's got it.
No, he's thinking. No.
He's trying to find it.
Is it there? That's it. That's it.
Is it really not there? It's got to be
It
there.
has to be it. This has to be it. This.
He's just messing with us now.
Oh no!
Brian, please. Please, Brian.
Oh, look at Paulie's and his triple ash blossom.
Please flip card.
Please.
There it
Anti-spell
is.
fragrance.
Okay.
Okay, we have an anti-spell fragrance.
All right.
However,
I was worried he was going to have nothing, but
Paulie has infinite impermanence, triple ash blossom.
Oh, is that a rise?
That's a Fenrir, I
Oh.
think. Special summon
All
on
right,
Fenrir.
special
Okay,
summon
we're
Fenrir.
going to try to make the most out of this one.
Yeah, no, these are probably all spell cards in this case. Since
But
they were
I-
set before anti-spell fragrance,
For sure.
was flipped, they can all be used.
Book of Moon. Okay, there's a Book of Moon. This is not the end yet, but because that is an anti-spell, if Brian draws into a spell card now, he's not going to be able to gain any momentum out of it. And
He's
without
now
any monster,
stuck.
not the best position, but it's definitely holding Paulie at bay. The triple ash blossom, though. Maybe we're going to see
It's tough.
disruption from hand, one ash after another, after another, after another.
It's tough. Like, it could be really bad because if he draws Planet, for instance, he has to set it, then flip it next turn and get ashed.
I think that's also a big bang. I don't think there's any follow-up from Paulie. But at least that anti-spell fragrance did not actually have the impact that we think it did. And that could,
we could have the Euro situation where you get, or not the Euro situation, but the German national situation where you get Eradicator on 5 spells and then lose your last monster.
that's unfortunate. Brian drew another spell. I think that was a Forbidden Lance that he just drew into. Paulie having a second chance at another run at trying to deal some damage to Brian.
As soon as that Fenrir establishes itself and starts getting cards, I think that's when Brian's in super trouble.
He's going to have to try right here. This is a flip summon of Fenrir. Fenrir effect. Are we going to see it negated?
I don't know that he has anything.
Yeah, this is taking a little long for thinking about how to stop a Fenrir effect. I mean, I would think a little long here too because everything is on the line.
He does. He does have its infinite impermanence.
Okay, infinite impermanence has been activated, negating the Fenrir, and also now column number 4 has been negated, so that's something that might come to Ash Blossom coming down. Oh my goodness.
You got to do something with them, right? How about some level 10s?
There, are we going to see the level 10? We have to. We have to. You would not normal summon an Ash Blossom like that.
You're not Link summoning.
Baron coming down. Baron to Fleur. That anti-spell, I think you might just keep it on the field.
It's hurting Brian a lot more than it's hurting Paulie right now.
Yeah, but I think Paulie should just maybe just clear some of those spells and traps that are face down. Yeah, going for that. The anti-spell clearly doing a lot of there's the Lance. And every turn that passes, that's going to be a lot of damage going to Brian. And keeping that Baron live on the field, this is going to be a rough one. Not to mention there's also like a Kashtira Big Bang that's set. So even if Brian tries to push forward, it might not get there. He's drawing to a monster. He needs a monster right now.
The way he dropped that card, it seems like it's a spell.
He got a little... Oh no! Did the anti-spell bite him?
This is brutal.
But I think it's just a lack of monster that's really stopping him getting anything. You're going to hit the new card because the other 2 cards didn't really do anything. So hitting the new card is probably the best bet.
Let's see what it is.
It's a Pot of Prosperity. That is high value right there because now there's no reach. We're taking another 3,000 damage, 2,000 more to go, and that is your ticket.
Oh, and we know that what that card is.
That also puts another clock on Brian. You can't pass turn because once you pass turn, we're going to see Kashtira cards.
And he's just he can't do anything but laugh at his draw.
Depressing.
This is unfortunate.
It's tough.
It's such an unfortunate choice.
Just 2 really good games, and then
This.
unfortunate.
This is unfortunate. He shows the card. He has nothing. That's Airclaw Kashtira.
Kashtira cards.
He is a little bit upset about the card that he drew.
Yeah,
Paulie securing the win here, getting his invite to World Championships in Japan.
great year to be Paulie, I gotta say.
After taking the 250 YCS title.
Yep, making it in on the points playoff.